Hey, I'm Just Bodo, and welcome to my guide on, let me get my laser pointer, on the Rogue PvE rotation. Now, this was a requested guide. I have the people that pretty much were asking me, like, hey, how can I play Rogue, contribute to group PvP, and not be a pooper so I can keep getting inviting back? So essentially, this is that guide. Now, I want to show this here. If people want to screenshot this, you can. I am going to explain everything. I kind of just did a test, and now I'm going to do the actual video. And here's another screenshot moment as well. If you want to screenshot this, this is if you're starting with 2 advantage. And the difference between this one and our original one up here is this if you're starting with 1 advantage. As you can see, I got some little tool things to kind of help out myself and also give you some heads up. I also even have a passive tree. So let's say you wanted to do these rotations as quickly as possible. We got a little passive tree that you can follow. So let's say you get to level 10 or level 11, uh, which, by the way, I don't know if you get your first point at level 1 or not. So maybe this is like level 11, level 12. I just can't remember. It's just been so long. But yeah, this is a path you can follow. Just respec your abilities once you get to level 10 or 11, and then you can just select all these abilities, and you can easily do this rotation. Another thing too is that let's say you're just starting out and you're not level 10 or 11, but you're grouping with your friends. I also have a pre-level 10 uh, sort of early starting rotation. So you're starting with 1 advantage, you proc your poison, you're doing your feint, your combo finisher to get the 1 advantage, plus build up poison stacks if this is a cold start and you don't have, you're not maintaining stacks on your target yet. And then boom, you just backstab, throw, lacerate, double strike, sap, rotation 2. And typically you're going to start your second rotation when you get close to your backstab coming off a cooldown. Proc your poison. By the way, sap gives you advantage, so you're going to maintain that advantage you get from sap into your second rotation. Don't kick by accident, waste it. Proc your poison, feint, auto attack finisher until you get your second advantage. Backstab, lacerate, thrash and flurry, thrash and flurry, thrash and flurry. And then on this last one, this last thrash, you'll get another advantage. Maintain that advantage, you're going to restart the cycle. That's the early levels. And then once you get to level 11 and you have access to everything, now let's get into the actual rotation guide. So starting with 1 advantage, we proc, we feint. We make sure, this is a good note, that feint gives a 7-second buff that gives you advantage on your next combo finisher with any weapon. But I strongly recommend shortbow. Shortbow is king, especially it's the fastest way to generate stacks on single target. So you can generate the most amount of poison stacks with your auto attack chains, and you'll get 3 poison stacks per combo finisher. Now, I don't know if this is also extended finishers and extended deadly finishers, which have a chance to proc after your combo finisher. So don't quote me on that. But you might have to do like 2 or 3 full weapon auto attack chain cycles to get enough stacks so that you can start your rotation on a cold start, when your target has no stacks. So yeah, you use your feint. Also, if you hit your target, you'll see that your feint does damage to the target. But let's say you miss, you won't receive this buff whatsoever. So in case that happens, there's alternate ways to generate advantage. You can use acrobatic strike, which because you're feinting onto your target, you'll be within melee zone. So you can just walk in front of the target, flip over, and you'll get an advantage at least. And then you could start auto attacking to generate more poison stacks, especially if you're on a cold start. And then you can start your damage rotation, which is backstab, backstab, throw, lacerate, double strike into sap. We're going to get our advantage from our sap, maintain it into our second rotation. when our backstab is roughly 2 or 3 seconds away, even 4 seconds away. We'll proc another poison, we'll do another feint, make sure it connects. If it doesn't connect, then maybe I don't think Acrobat Strike would be up in time if we use it up here. Actually, I'm pretty sure it won't. So then we would have to like dodge roll back, make sure we're 15 meters away, use our shadow step, or we could smoke bomb into stealth, or we could dodge far away and just stealth and re-engage the rotation if it were to miss again. And we already used our first Acrobat Strike. That's another alternate way you can do it. And then we would hopefully be auto attacking the entire time as we're trying to do that. Gain our advantage, backstab, backstab, throw, lacerate, thrash and flurry 3 times. The third time on our third thrash, we'll get our advantage. We'll maintain that advantage, and then we'll restart the whole chain again. And if we miss another feint, this time we could use our Acrobatic Strike again. Let's say we miss our second rotation feint again. We could use another smoke bomb into stealth, or try to use shadow step, or just back away and use either shadow step or stealth to generate the extra advantage. But that's if you're missing a lot. That's not going to happen a lot of times, but there are some name boss mobs that does happen to you, and that's why I want to make sure you guys know that, because it's very, very important. So yeah, so why does this rotation work? And why at level 11 does this rotation start to work and it does a crap ton of damage? That is because of Ruthless. The Ruthless passive basically allows us to, I'm just going to give you why, I'm not going to give the actual full detail, allows us to, at 2 advantage, backstab and not put the ability on cooldown. So you can see there's no cooldown timer here. We will consume the advantage, but we can immediately follow up with another backstab since the cooldown's not accumulated, and we'll consume the other advantage. We can then throw, we can then lacerate, which, because throw procs bleed on our targets, when we lacerate, we're going to do damage. Plus, instead of doing another bleed with lacerate, we will do, oh my gosh, I always say it wrong. Hemorrhage. We'll do a hemorrhage onto our target instead of a bleed, which is an upgraded bleed. And then we can double strike with this lacerate, and it will also apply hemorrhage because the bleed stack doesn't get consumed or anything. The bleed stack is still going, and we'll get a second hemorrhage plus the base damage you get off of lacerate. And then boom, we sap. And that, you know, with the poison stacks and how many stacks you have is how much damage you're going to do. So if you have 20 stacks, you can do the most amount of damage and get the most amount of lifesteal. But you also get your advantage. And like we said, you start into here. Now, with the tool belt, the expanded tool belt, that gives us 2 charges of our throw. So when we go into the second rotation, the reason why we can use our throw again is because we have 2 charges from our expanded tool belt. Now, the expanded tool belt also gives us a second poison we can equip. So at base, we actually have our poison with 2 charges. So you don't really need expanded tool belt for our poison to work. That's why in our earlier version, we have both the poisons here. But once you get expanded tool belt, for whatever reason, if you wanted to still apply your stacks, but swap out the effect, you could do that. That's why we have this here. You're probably not going to do that in PvE. Maybe you'll do wounding, and that's the one poison you'll use. You might want to use mana drain if you don't have a bard in your group and you want to maintain mana on you. Maybe you use chill, maybe you use the withering, which dazes and it's the daze and the other one. I forget what the other one is, but essentially it slows the action time for both magic abilities and physical abilities. So it really just depends on your bread and butter, what you want to choose. But it really doesn't matter too much when it comes to the mechanics of the rotation. So yeah, that's pretty much this in a nutshell. Now let's talk about 2 advantage. So this is a perfect loop is what I like to call it. As long as you're maintaining this and you're not abusing your advantage to at all, this is a perfect closed loop. You can just go over and over and over and over and over, and you get breathing room between each rotation to wait for cooldowns. So you can use maybe a filler ability you like to use. So if we go over here, a filler ability could be, maybe you want to drop caltrops. Maybe you want to thump randomly to squeeze that extra little bit of damage. What's another remaining filler ability? Maybe you want to use what's this called again? Adrenaline, to get extra stamina because you're dashing around, because maybe you're dashing too much because you need the shadow step or the stealth procs because you missed a feint or something like that. There's a lot of filler stuff you can do. The more notable ones is like, oh, the boss is about to cast an ability. I can sleep dart, even though it's going to sleep dart the boss for like 0.1 seconds. It still cancels out his action bar that he's whatever specific ability he's doing. Or you could thump him if you're in melee. Stuff like that. Help out your team. Smoke bomb. This not only gives you advantage, but let's just say you're never using your smoke bombs ever, and you have a really good group. You can drop this on top of your tank. If he pulls too much, it will debuff all the like melee mobs and debuff their accuracy and specifically, and it will help out your tank with essentially just dodging melee attacks. It's very useful. And that's kind of like the filler stuff. So with starting with 2 advantage, now how do we make this work? The same thing, and it doesn't really focus on us using feint and having a perfect loop. Well, in some situations, like if you're using the feint and you're doing this perfect loop style, unfortunately, uh, you're kind of tying yourself too much to the mob. So let's say you're doing something difficult and has a lot of mechanics to it. The most amount of freedom you can have, the better. So the 2 advantage rotation is that ability to have the most amount of freedom. And why is that? You're starting the rotation already with 2 advantage, so you don't have to dash to the target, proc the advantage, slowly back up and position before you get your advantage and your desired poison stacks. Instead, what you're going to do is that you're going to start with 2 advantage first of all. So however you want to generate that, with like 2 stealths or something, that's up to you. Start with 2 advantage, proc your poison. Let's say this is a cold start. You're going to build stacks with your auto combo finishers, and please only use the short bow. And we're doing single target. Just use the short bow. Please just use the short bow. Even if it's like worse stats, use the short bow. You'll find out. We're just going to proc our poison. We're going to just rain him down with our short bow. It's a cold start, so we're going to wait until we build up our stacks, maybe at 15 stacks or the full 20. That is up to you. And then we'll get in position, backstab, throw, lacerate, double strike, sap. And then we'll end this with 1 advantage. So that means we have to gain 1 advantage. And what does this mean? This means when we're in melee and when we sap, we could easily feint, just like we did in our first rotation. We can easily feint, still back up away, and still be auto attacking. And the only time we ever had to be in melee was from the start of our rotation and the very end, when we just have to connect with feint just once. And we can slowly back off, reposition, dodge around, and keep spamming our auto attacks, generating more stacks. And because that, it just narrows our window of when we have to be next to the mob. So, like I said, it allows us to dodge mechanics easier. Now, you don't have to use feint right after. You could just back off, keep auto attacking, maintaining your stacks, and then get far enough to stealth. That's an easy one for me. Or you can get far enough so that if you want to start your second rotation, if you're going to time it like we usually do with the backstab timer, you can shadow step immediately, get that advantage if you're 15 meters away. If you want to stay within melee range and you're just too lazy to use your acrobatic strike, you could just stealth, and then you can smoke bomb and stealth inside your smoke bomb. and then start your second rotation, because now you're starting with 2 advantage, 1 from the sap and 1 from your alternate choice. And then we're going to Procker Poison. We'll auto attack spam if we feel like we need to just get 1 or 2 combo finishers to get our stacks back up. That really isn't the problem. A lot of times, maybe you might just do 1 just for what's it called? Might just do 1 just to keep the motion, just keep things familiar and robotic to the point you can just go on autopilot and never have to worry about the stacks. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a better word for explaining that. I'm just not getting there. And then you backstab, throw, lacerate, thrash of fury. It's the same thing as before. When you get your advantage from this thrash, whatever is available, you try to generate that other advantage. So once again, you could feint and back up. You could quickly just walk around the mob since you're already behind him, and acrobatic strike and walk away while auto attacking constantly. Pick your poison, whatever you want to do, and you just restart the cycle. So yeah, you have a choice. You have the first rotation. First rotation. You have the first method starting with 1 advantage and having a nice perfect loop. And then you have your 2 advantage method, which requires you to have a higher level so you can have all these abilities available plus the rotation abilities available. So this is more of an advanced thing. This is more when you have the spare points, to get your shadow step, to get oh my gosh, I'm blind, to get your smoke bomb, and also we already have acrobatic strike there. We missing anything? Nope, we're not missing anything. Yeah, to get your shadow step and to get your smoke bomb. So yeah, that is essentially the rotation. All right, we're at the end of the video. In case you're curious, I am part of a guild called Suspect. And if you are a rogue player, there's something pretty cool about Suspect that very rarely will find other guilds doing. We're considered a mercenary guild. We're a merc guild. So we like it when people hire us to help them out with their dirty work, help them out with battles or fights, help them up with like harassing caravans. But we also do stuff like maybe they're trying to get mayorship for a specific node. They can hire us and we'll vote for the person that they want us to hire. Stuff like that. So it doesn't matter if it's PvP, it could be PvE, and it can even just be mayoral related stuff as well, like that. Could even be transporting. Heck, we can get hired for whatever. Currently, right now, the state of suspects at the current moment, we're not going super hardcore right now. We went hardcore in phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 3, we're kind of just rolling with the updates as they come. There's a good solid core of about 20 to 50 people. It kind of fluctuates from the start of the phase towards the end of the phase. But in reality, our numbers are much higher. I just don't want to reveal them because I think people would be shocked at how many people we actually have in our guild. In terms of that, we are a tight-knit community. Most of our community is well over the age of 18. I would tell you that the average age of our community is probably like 27 or 28. And that might be undershooting it. So if you are looking for a more mature community, look up Suspect. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any concerns, anything you want to add about my rotation, or even suggestions on like, hey, maybe if you swap this or did something out, let me know below. In terms of future updates, we are like an update away from them adding 10 seconds to one of the abilities that could affect the rotation in the future. So if you are watching this from the future, just be aware things may have changed depending on updates. And I'll try to keep a updated rogue guide going in the future. I think rogue is going to be either my main class or my secondary class. It's between rogue and cleric or rogue and bard. I'm having like a identity dilemma. We're going to find out. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the video and have a nice day.